it working with Teryn Darling at Girlz Inc. on these?
It's great. I'm learning.
Yeah.
Whenever I work with somebody that I learn something from, I appreciate it even more.
Aw.
Because, of course.
And I have learned a lot from you.
Thank you.
But that's what a good relationship is, professional relationship. Like,
Yeah. That's how
kinda-
it has to be, I think.
like I
you
like.
know.
Look, this is my whole philosophy in business. I think this is why I came from nothing, no money, didn't have parents to help me.
Yeah.
Is because I never wanted to be the smartest one in the room.
Yeah. It's pressure.
Yeah. Well,
It's
when you're the
pressure.
smartest one in the room, you're not learning,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I like to learn.
Yeah.
And then when I learn something, I like to pass it on to others.
Yeah.
It's just, I get off on that.
Yeah. It's like a give and take. Like when I'm directing like the movie and stuff, everybody expects me to be the smartest one.
Right.
So when people are expecting you to be the smartest one, you at least have to act like it. But at the same time, you have to be very humble, because if you're not, then you're not going to learn. So I'll always leave myself open for other people to give me advice.
Yeah.
Right? If somebody sees something and they come up and tell me in private, I'll definitely at least consider it.
Right.
You know? Like when we're working together and you say, hey, Art, what if we do this? What if we do that? What if we use this angle? I never let my ego to, crush the idea. Just
Right.
because I've been in entertainment since 2001, let's say, for example, doesn't mean that I can learn from something from somebody else who hasn't had that experience.
Right. I think this would be a good podcast.
It would.
We should clip this off, and I'm going to put it out there. Yeah. But I was going to say, what I appreciate about you most,
Mhm.
well, certainly your skill. You're super talented. You are.
Thank you.
But this is your forte. This is what you do. And you're way smarter at me. But you let me tell you let me express myself when it's like, can we get this better? This still hasn't like met, our standard, and blah, blah, blah. And you don't get your panties all in a ruffle, and and I'm that way too.
Yeah.
I might be this, on any given day, I can be in a room with a bunch of young newbies, and I've been doing it way longer, and maybe technically I'm a little bit advanced and better, but I'm so open to learning, and I do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think it's all about dynamics, because when I write a movie, for example, that's my baby. I know exactly how it's supposed to be. I know how it's supposed to be shot. But if I have a cinematographer who says, hey, Art, let's do this angle, let's do this lighting and everything, that's fine. I'll work with that person. But when the dynamic changes and I'm doing work for somebody whose passion it is, whose industry it is, right?
Yeah.
Microblading or, tattooing, that's your industry. So if I'm willing to work with you, I have to go with some of your rules, and I have to learn from you.
Do I have rules?
Right? Well, of course, because you know how you're supposed to hold the machine. You know how you're supposed to use the machine. So I have to go with your rules, right?
Yeah.
I can't tell you how to hold your machine.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know. Those are your rules, right?
But sometimes
Those
I'm
are
telling
your
you how to
industry.
change your camera angle.
Of course.
Does
of
it
course.
ever piss you off?
No,
Do
it
I
doesn't.
ever piss you off?
It doesn't. No, I don't. But sometimes I have to explain it too.
Yeah.
Remember? Like,
But you
if the
explain it in a way
exposure-
where it makes sense.
Yeah. If the exposure is too much or like it bugs you at the time, I'm like, don't worry about that. I know what that is.
Right.
That's fixable, or there's no other way to do it. I'll explain it very, normal. I won't get frustrated about explaining something because I always love teaching too.
Yeah.
So I don't mind giving my secrets
Right.
to somebody.
Well, if you try to explain it bit rate and this and da da da, I don't understand. But like just a minute ago when you said stare at that pencil,
Yes.
when you were trying to explain depth of field, stare at that pencil,
Mm-hmm.
and then look, everything around that pencil is blurry.
Yes.
That you explain it a way my brain can comprehend. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So you got a challenge on your hand then to
Yes.
get that second angle because
Yeah.
makes sense to me.
Honestly, explanation is everything in video, because when I'm directing a movie, I have to explain exactly how actors are supposed to act without actually mimicking it.
Right.
So when you mimic it, some actors would take it the wrong way. They'll go like, well, I'm an actor, I'm an artist. don't tell me exactly how I'm supposed to do it. Just explain me the scene and explain me the energy and everything. So explanation is extremely important to do it the right way.
It is. And some people, like I work with other videographers that they don't want to explain it. I'll just ask, because I'm going to ask a million things of you. Can we do this? Can we get that? Because I have a vision in my head of how I want it to look. And everybody before you didn't want to explain why. They say, no, you can't do that. Mm-hmm. And it's frustrating. It's like, why? And they, you just can't do that. It's not possible. Mm-hmm. But you don't do that.
No.
You explain it in a way where like, okay. And you never really say no.
Yeah.
You always say, well, that's going to be hard. Well, that's going to be challenging because of this, and this. Like, you never say no.
Yeah, no is like a buzzword.
Yeah, right.
Nobody wants to hear no.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And one thing I had to learn in life is to say no, right? Because there is a lot of situations in life when you're living and your family and your friendships and a lot of situations, you need to learn how to say no or you're always going to lose in life, right? But
saying
for
no
me,
is
that was the hardest thing.
Self-care, right?
Yeah.
Part of self-care.
Yeah.
Self-love.
But that was one of the hardest things for me to learn, saying no. I've always said yes to every single thing, but to say no in a correct manner, I think is the challenge. But nothing good is easy.
Oh, yeah. So when you say, well, that's gonna be that's really your way of saying no.
Probably.
Yeah, but then I push.
Well, the reason why I don't say no is because there might be some truth to it.
Yeah.
So I keep that in mind, but at the same time, I'm not set 100% because nothing is 100%, as you know. Yeah. Everything is 99.99%. So that 0.1% could be the difference between doing it one way or another.
Yeah.
And I always keep an open mind for that, at least that 0.1%, to adjust myself and to learn something new.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're never going to progress in anything.
No, that's true. And look, I'm learning stuff from young artists because the industry's, changing. So, and I'm still at a point in my career where, look, if I can get that eyebrow to heal and look even that much better, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take that advice and I'm going to put it to practice, right? Because that's how much my craft means to me.
Correct.
And your craft means the world to you.
Yeah.
So
and it's the frustration and the attention to detail that really it's exhilarating, but at the same time it's very challenging and it takes a lot of energy from you.
Yeah.
So when I'm done shooting a movie scene, for example, I'm drained, but I don't feel it. Right. Because I love what I do, right? Yeah. So my energy level is way higher,
right?
But physically I'm drained, and the only time I feel it is when I actually lay down at night when I'm gonna sleep. Yeah. That's when I feel it.
Yeah.
But that's when you know that you really love what you're doing and you're giving it all you got, basically.
Yeah, I gotcha.
All
right.
If it's a drain on you, if it's like tiring and you're bored and you don't want to do it, sometimes I feel like that with editing.
Yeah.
Editing, I can't, I'll have to be honest. Sometimes I feel like, man, I don't want to do this, but it's necessary, right?
No.
And you can't have somebody else edit it.
Well, the fun part is being behind the camera, being on the camera, that stuff. Yeah, the editing.
And you can't trust somebody else to edit it.
It's so technical.
Yeah.
So do you get headaches from being on the computer?
It's
and like
I don't know how to explain it. It's like fatigue, but it's mental fatigue.
Yeah. Well, because I think there's something with the computer screens too, man. That really messes with our brains.
Definitely.
Because I like building content for my academy, right? Because you're my videographer for my academy. You're producing these great videos, but that's not all that has to be on the academy. I got to go and write content.
Correct.
Right. Everything we film, I got to get that now in written content.
Yes.
And I love doing it, but I hate the computer. I wish there was a way to do it without sitting in front of a computer screen, right?
Yeah.
Because it gives me headaches and something about that blue light, and I don't know, man.
My dream is to just sit back and have an editor and I just look and say, okay, cut this with this, cut this with that.
You know what my dream is? My dream is we can sit there. Technology is going to be where we can just talk to our computers. Like we talk the content and the computer just shows up on a Word doc.
Oh, yeah.
And then we say, okay, now convert to a PDF. And it just converts to a PDF, right? We don't even have to
It's coming.
It's coming. I hope I'm not dead or retired by that
I don't
point.
think so. I think it's a matter of time. It's going to be a short time too. I think in the next 5 years, everything is going to be automated.
Wow.
Every single thing.
Like voice.
Everything. I mean, the AI is just taking over everything.
Yeah.
But one thing that I don't think could be replaced is the human eye for things.
Yeah.
So the human eye for things is going to be the key.
Well, and the creativity and the vision and
because computers
that can't
can
be
learn.
Replaced.
Yeah, computers can learn, but I don't think they can.
But they don't have emotion.
Yeah, I don't think they can create from nothing.
Right.
From nothing. So if you give a computer a program and say, look, this is the program, this is the goal, it can learn it and it can perfect it. But to do something from scratch, I don't think the computer is going to learn how to do that. That's up to us because creativity is something that we get from around. Right. I don't know what it is, but it just comes. So if they can figure out how to put wisdom in a computer, that's when we lose. Until then, we're winning.
And I think emotion, like compassion, passion.
Oh yeah.
You know, I think emotion too. I don't. So that will never be replaced either by a computer. No. So.
Sometimes our emotions get in our way.
Well, that's another whole
So
topic.
it's not the best thing in the world.
Yeah,
but
they get my way sometimes. You know, I mean, for sure, I get super stressed and I get anxiety and I get like really like you know. Yeah, it can make you just shut down.
Yeah, it'll kill your creativity.
Yeah.
So I try to think very like just neutral about everything in order to do it. But I'm a very emotional person myself. So it's very hard to control my emotions. But that's something I had to learn too, because like when you're on a set shooting a video or a movie or something like that, the anxiety, the pressure, everybody's waiting to see what you're going to do next.
Yeah.
You stop, everything stops. You move, everything moves. How do you move? Do you move too fast? Do you move too slow? How do you change the speed? Are we on time? Are we behind? What's going on? What's next? Why is this guy not doing his job? Why is this actor not doing their job?
Right.
Like all these things just compound, but at the same time, when you just pull yourself out of that situation and you look at the situation from above, it's like almost like holistic, you know, like a meditation. You just look at it from above. Now you can control every single thing.
Right.
But you have to be relaxed.
Yeah. Well, I think when you're relaxed, the whole set's relaxed, right?
Yeah.
If you're upset and angry and yelling, it changes the whole vibe of the set.
Exactly. Your energy is relaxed, but you're moving, but your energy is relaxed.
Right.
So that's the I think that's the key to success, where you have to relax your energy so nobody is stressing around you, but you're moving quick.
Yeah. No, I gotcha. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
Those are the things that you learn in years. I think it's not about the best technology. I have the best camera. I have the best equipment.
No,
and
it's a certain discipline.
Yeah.
That I think you're right, comes with time. Maybe some people are naturally born with it. You know, I certainly wasn't. Mine was all like learning discipline, and
you're right. And discipline is something that could be learned, I think.
Yeah, because I'm super emotional too, and I'm intense when I'm filming and trying to do launch projects for the industry. I get intense and I get worried, and you want it. So it was discipline.
I think tattooing is the most stressful thing, especially doing it on somebody else.
On camera, like doing it on somebody else in my own private room. Yeah. Like now, after 20 years, it's like really no biggie. Every now and then, it's like second day, but every now and then, like an eyeliner or something super challenging. My pits can still get sweaty. I mean, and every time you walk a client out, to this day, you still like, oh, please God, let that heal really good. But then you move on. I don't dwell on it like I used to in the early days. I don't lose sleep over it, but you still say that little prayer to Jesus.
Yeah.
But it's filmed.
Video is the same.
Yeah, right.
Video is the same. I shoot it and I'm like, man, I hope the audio came out good. I hope there was no problems with the camera. I say that
every time we film a procedure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Please,
God. I say it to myself. Trust me.
I nailed that brow. Hopefully Art caught it.
I say it to myself every time we're filming, but I don't say it out loud, right? But I say it to myself, and I think that's the discipline, and that's what keeps you sharp and not relaxed, because once you relax, you're going to start making mistakes. Right? You can't be too relaxed. You have to have that balance between relaxation and intensity. And if you lose that balance, then you're not on track anymore. Right. Now you're going to start making mistakes. And that's the same in every single industry, where attention to detail is the most important thing.
Yeah. No, for sure. Attention to detail.
Most important thing.
And that's what I was trying to, that's what I was explaining to Na. I'm going to call Na out, because she was out here, young artist, you know. Well, not really a young artist, but new to being filmed while tattooing an eyebrow. And when we're filming with Art, he's constantly stop. And he's got to adjust a minute. Stop. He's got to adjust the focus. Stop. He's got to. So
well, I say it nicer.
Well, okay, you do.
Okay,
but to us artists, that's what it sounds like because we're in our groove and we're tattooing and we hear the stop. And it's like shot. It's like oh, and you stop and you don't want to lose your grip or where your needle is. And then he adjusts the focus. He's like, okay, go. And 5 seconds. Stop. Ugh.
Just for context, the way I say it is, okay, can you stop for 1 second? Okay. All right, now go. But when you're so intense and you're doing it, when I say stop, even if I say it the nicest way possible, it's still like a break.
Yeah,
like
it's like fingers on a chalkboard for us, and it makes us cringe because you totally lose your flow, right?
Yeah.
And you think you're gonna see that on camera, but we had a kid, and we're not doing that because we edit.
Yeah.
You're doing that because you film everything manual focus and we're moving our hands really fast, so you have to keep adjusting.
And I can't do second, third take. See, with actors, if they're acting bad, I can let them act for the scene and they're done and I'll say I'll adjust it. But once you go over that area with the tattoo gun, there's no going back and doing it again.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have to stop you before
we got
you
one shot.
That's
it. We can't go back and redo it, right?
Yeah.
But and Na, she, I mean, in her super sweet little way, we were talking about it, and I'm like, nah, that's the difference between your camera guy caring versus a camera guy that doesn't care. And I've worked with camera guys that don't care. They set the focus, they set back, and they just let you tattoo.
Yeah.
And whatever they happen to get, they happen to get. And, but you're not like that. You're in it. You're super, like, I was telling Kat this, like, last night about you. I'm like, he's, like, the best cameraman, like, ever. Like, it's like you're part of, I don't know, you're, like, part of, like, my success now because you care. You're intense. You're in there. You're super focused. And you're constantly, you watch that whole procedure. You never take your eyes off it. You're constantly monitoring everything. And that's just what I love about you. That's what makes you so good.
Thank you. It's not about just being a cameraman. You have to be a
Is that
good person
bad
too.
Is that like an insult saying a cameraman?
Not an
Videographer
insult.
sometimes doesn't flow off my tongue because it's a long
Well,
word.
we're artists, right?
Yeah.
I'm an artist. We create.
Definitely.
You're an artist. Camera is my brush.
Yeah.
I can't paint pictures with my hands, but I can paint pictures with the camera.
Right.
Whatever tool you use to tell a story is your craft, right? So camera is just a tool for me. So somebody who paints with the brush, you don't call him brush master. You call him an artist, right?
Right.
Or a painter.
Right.
So to me, even the word director is not something that covers everything.
Right.
Because directing is just one portion. But if you don't know how to use a camera, you can't be a good director.
Right.
And if you can't communicate good, but you're really good at camera, you can't be it's still not complete.
Yeah.
So to be a good artist is the key. And I love when people call me art, right? I love art. I love art in
your
in
name
picture.
is fitting, right?
It's very fitting, and I love it. So for a short version of my name, art is great because I love art. Just any creative art that takes some creativity and some technique that not everybody can do.
No, your actual name defines who you are.
Thank you.
Which is kind of cool, right? Your name is Art, and that's who you are.
Because for the longest time, I was always afraid of using director in front of my name or, like a prefix or whatever, Artur Babayan director. And somebody from the movie industry, he said, because I thought it was such a high standard. And I have to be so
do you think it sounds egotistical or did it put a lot of pressure on you?
Yeah. Well, not the pressure. I didn't mind the pressure.
You just thought it sounded like...
I just didn't think I was worthy to be called.
Okay.
And somebody from the movie industry said, well, okay, have you shot a movie? I have. Did you direct it? Yes. Did you write it? Yes. Did it come out? Yes. Then you can call yourself a director, right?
Right.
So as a tattoo artist, if you've done your work, if you've done tattoos on people like the tattoos, it came out good, you can call yourself a tattoo artist, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's just one portion of who you are. You're a good tattoo artist, but you could also be a good drawer, right? Like you can draw good on all those things. So writing to me is another portion of this industry, but not everybody writes what they shoot or direct.
Yeah.
They don't. I have seen directors who work with actors who are brilliant. The actors are great, But the director is not directing really much because you don't have to. The actors are great.
Yeah.
They do the whole work for you.
Yeah.
But I've seen directors who are really good and they're working with horrible actors and the work comes out great.
Right. Yeah.
Most of my movies, if you watch, the actors don't have any experience, but they look like actors.
Right.
I'm not saying because I'm a great director, but there must be something to it.
Yeah, but I haven't seen any of your movies yet, but I would assume.
Well, go to competitionsero.com.
I was gonna say competition. Look, let's turn this into an episode, okay? Because so look, we didn't start with hey, this is art. No, this was not supposed to be recorded.
This is a test for our camera.
This is supposed to be just we came in here and test this for our cameras, make sure our lips and audio is all syncing, make sure it's good and all that stuff. But we just started testing cameras and talking about really cool shit. So let me I'll like officially introduce you. This is Art. And he's here in Vegas and he's been working with me on my procedure videos and projects for my academy for well over a year now, and that's what he does. So you do movies, you do videography,
yes,
and so you can see some of his movies on competitionsero.com.
Correct. Yeah.
All right, so we'll turn this into a real episode. I think it's kind of interesting because I think why it would be interesting and relevant to my field and why I would say, look, let's just keep going with this is because there's a lot of artists right now in the industry that want to do an academy, right? They're looking for a videographer to work with. They're where I was 2 years ago, super frustrated, trying to figure out how do I capture what I do, tattooing an eyebrow and eyeliner on camera, where it's super high def, super clear, great angles. How do I do that, and how do I find a videographer? And then how do you talk to your videographer? How do you know if you're a good pair, a good team? Because you're not going to get along with everybody. Yeah, I went through probably 4 videographers, before. All right, and I found I put an ad out.
Yeah.
I put an ad out in on Craigslist, to be quite honest with you. And I just wasn't happy with any of them. Maybe you can give some advice to young artists. If they're trying to find somebody as good as I found with you, what do they put in their ads? What do they ask in an interview? What do they look for? Maybe some just little bits of advice.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest enemies to any person who's in video production who wants to become a director or camera or whatever it is in the media, their biggest enemy is ego. So if you have ego, if you see ego in somebody, too much ego, it's not good. Right. You're not going to be able to work with that person. The less ego, the more room for improvement and the more room for change. Right. Because without change, it's impossible to adjust. Yeah. And adjustment is the key, I think, to this because it's so technical. It's not even funny. Yeah. And you don't necessarily need multi-million-dollar technology to shoot this. Right. All you need is an open mind and collaboration and working together because you're really good at what you do. And I understand what I'm doing. Right. But if we don't work together, there's no way we can get a good product. Right. No way. There's just no way. I don't care how good somebody is in camera, how good they understand lighting and everything and angles and this and that. If they don't work with the artist, there's no way they're going to get a good product. So find somebody who you could communicate with first. Right. First and foremost. Yeah. And of course, they need to have at least basic knowledge of lighting, camera equipment, and editing. Right. Right. Because some people will shoot it, but
you want it all in one. You don't want to find somebody who can shoot it, but he can't edit it. You want it all in one.
Yes. Right? Edit it and have a good communication skills and not too much ego. Because ego is the enemy. Yep. Once you see somebody who comes in and just acts like he's going to do everything and he got this, he's going to mess it up. Yeah. Guaranteed he's going to mess it up. Yeah. Guaranteed.
So if he oversells himself. Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't sit there and say, well, okay, tell me exactly what you need. Right. Let me see what I can do. Okay. Well, let's try something. Right. Let's shoot it this way. And then you shoot it and it doesn't come out good. You don't give up. You don't get hurt. You don't take it personally.
Right.
You know, you've told me.
Yeah.
You've told me before, hey, Art, I don't like this angle, like, or but these things came out a little blurry. Well, okay, let's adjust it.
Yeah.
Let's get a different camera.
Right.
Maybe we need a different
Yeah.
camera.
And it's hard for me to tell you that. You know, I never want to hurt your feelings. You know?
But you don't. And that's what I have explained to you
No,
before.
I know. I check up every now and then to make sure, you know.
And you're right, though.
I
Most
haven't.
people would get hurt.
Yeah.
Most people in the industry, because of too much ego, yes, they are going to get hurt.
Yeah, they automatically get really super defensive and start defending, you know, why it might be blurry or this or that and the other.
And that's normal. And that's normal in the industry. 99% of the time.
That doesn't work.
Of course, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's
doesn't
the biggest
work.
enemy. Yeah.
Right.
Find somebody with not too much ego. And I'm not saying somebody who's just starting, who's very nice. No, they got to know when to take charge.
Right.
And when to step back a little.
Exactly.
And listen and accept.
Yeah.
Right? So that balance is something that you can't really learn the first day, second day, or even in 10 years.
Yeah.
This is something that you have to be capable of learning.
Yeah.
And not everybody is capable. But it's up to you as the artist to talk to the person and figure out if they're capable of learning it or not. So the first 10 minutes that you talk to somebody, you can definitely find out if they're going to be or not.
Yeah.
But from my experience, every single camera person, every director, every single person that I have ever talked to in the past 15, almost 17 years now, they've had too much ego.
Yeah, too much ego. I gotcha. What do you call, like, if they're going to put an ad out? I think this was my thing. Is like, I didn't know how to describe this type of footage. I think I put in the ad educational documentary filming, procedural filming. But I had a lot of people. I probably interviewed like 20 videographers, to be honest with you, and then, you know, tried a few out. But they didn't know what I meant. I had to like get on YouTube and kind of show them. Is there language they can use in their ad?
Well, I think tattoo procedure
tattoo
procedure video is the best one. It's not a documentary for sure.
Okay.
Because you're controlling it. Documentary is something that's happening and you're just documenting it.
Right. Yeah.
Hence the word documentary. So this is a procedure. And you're shooting a procedure, and it's extremely technical.
Yeah, very technical.
Very technical. So even if you're a good director and good writer and this and that, doesn't mean you're going to be a good technical person for this job specifically.
Right.
Specifically.
Right.
Because it's a very, very specific thing.
Right.
And you got to get it right every time.
Yeah.
And if you're not getting it right, you better stop the whole thing and figure it out and shoot it again.
Yeah.
There is no shame in it. There is no, you shouldn't hold back. You shouldn't feel bad. Even if you have to make people wait for 5-10 minutes, you know, it's better than shooting for 3 hours and then finding out that, hey, it wasn't bad. It wasn't good.
Exactly.
Can we shoot it again, please? No.
Yeah. Our operator, Olivia, just walked in.
Hey,
you can try a couple camera angles. We're going to turn this into an episode. It's really good. We're talking good stuff.
We've been talking for like 30 minutes.
Yeah. We have. But let's just do one more. I got one more question because I know this is a big, huge question for people. And it might, you know, and so maybe so let's talk money.
Yes.
Right? Because everybody wants to know, how much should it cost? I get these emails every now and then, or I'll see people on the message boards, you know, in the permanent makeup boards, you know, how much should it cost? So let's give them a range. So, you know, you and I, you know, we have our own fees and all that stuff, and it's worked out really good for you and I. But that was an uncomfortable conversation too between you and I. Okay, so how are we going to do this? What do you charge me the day you come and film? What do you charge for the editing portion? So let's just give them not the specific numbers, like maybe, you know, you and I have arranged, but I know you and I, what your fees that you charge me are well within the range. So let's talk like a range, like a day of shooting, like one eyebrow. First of all, should it be a la carte? Should the artist be paying the videographer separately? Like for the day of shooting, does the videographer want to be paid for that day of shooting? Or does the videographer want to be paid at the end, after the shoot, after the editing, the project's all done, then the videographer gets paid? Yeah. See, personally, I wouldn't like that.
It's somewhere in between because, of course, obviously, everybody would want to get paid fully upfront because they got bills, right? So we have to be practical about this. But sometimes, even from my experience, when you get everything upfront, you get lazy. You don't work on it because there's no more payout afterwards.
And you're being super
you already
honest
paid your
about
bill.
that. Yeah.
Because we're human beings, right?
And I got screwed over paying someone all up front too.
Of course,
you know,
yeah.
so. And
I do that to myself as a self disciplinary action.
Right.
I don't charge people upfront everything because I know myself.
Right.
And I'm like everybody else, so I'm not special, right? And if I think of myself special, then I'll lose. So I have to think of myself like everybody else, like I'm like everybody else, and I charge some upfront and some when I release the product, right? That gives me motivation to finish it on time, and if I finish it on time, client is happy, and I'm happy because I got another pay coming, right? So that's a self-disciplinary action.
Yeah.
If you don't self-discipline yourself,
right.
nobody is going, your parents are only going to discipline you until some period of time in your life, right? Yeah. And afterwards, you're on your own. So this is one of those things where I discipline myself. As far as the pay goes, the reason why our conversation wasn't that painful is because you're paying us very lucrative. I mean, the pay that you're giving us is very good for us. Okay?
Yeah.
It pays my bills for certain things, and I'm happy with it.
Well, you didn't really come in with a structure payment.
I didn't.
You were kind of like, what's comfortable
for
you? And
yes.
So, which was a little weird.
And I'll tell you why.
Right?
Because
you could have gotten taken advantage of.
Of course.
If I wasn't, I like paying people their worth.
Yeah.
Like that's what I charge, for my work.
Yeah.
So I'm very conscientious of paying people well in their worth.
Yes.
I think if you pay someone well, I don't want to get screwed over.
Yeah.
And nickeled and dimed and pay, extreme amounts that I shouldn't pay, but you want to make sure, I think it's important, Art, that the people you're working with, they feel what you're paying them is fair.
Yes.
Or they're not going to be there.
Yes. And that's the key word. I think you said it, fair. What you offered us was very fair. And I knew what I was bringing from my end. Right. And you brought that from your end, and I said, okay, this is a fair transaction.
Right.
And that's why me and Ed, when we're working with somebody, we always ask, what is fair to you?
Right.
To a client, because this is a creative business.
Right.
Okay.
So I could have gotten you for a little less money.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Everything happens for a reason. Yeah. Right. No, right. The reason why you offered that is probably why things are happening so good right now. Yeah. Right? Things are going smooth. Right. So I believe in energy, and I believe in energy that makes everything happen. Right.
So let me ask you this: What if someone come in? So you have another client, and you ask them, well, what's fair, and they lowball you. Do you stand up for yourself? Do you say, well, that's too low?
We can negotiate. Okay. We might negotiate, but like I said, this is a creative industry. Yeah. There is no set price on anything.
Right.
On anything.
But there's a range, I would think, right? Isn't there like a range?
There is not even a range.
Really?
That's the thing. Yeah, because you might have somebody who comes in straight out of film school. They want experience. They want to create a demo reel or something like that, right? Database. They'll do it for free. And they might do it better than me. They might do it better than me because they understand, they really get it. Yeah. And they do it better than me. They do it for free. But it's good for them because nobody else is giving them a chance to work on a professional project. Right. And now they have something to show for. Right. Now they can, build a resume. I came up like that. When I was shooting at first, I would do free stuff. Yeah. But not too much. I did it for like 6 months or so.
Just like permanent makeup. I got an apprentice right now here doing work for free just to get on a face. Yeah. Do you know?
And there's no shame in an apprenticeship. Yeah. An apprenticeship should be in every single profession because if you don't do it for free, you're not really going to appreciate it. Okay.
So we're not going to give our listeners a range.
There is no range. Honestly,
so we'll just tell them it's got to feel fair to you.
Yeah.
And then it's got to feel fair to your team, your videographer. You both got to feel like you're paying fairly, and your videographer needs to feel like he's being compensated fairly. Yes. I think what I would say is never pay up front for the full project.
Not the full.
We don't even do that, and I would now with you. I mean,
and I wouldn't accept it.
And you wouldn't accept it because you would get lazy, like you just said.
I would
today. So I was like, I would. Mental note, Olivia.
I
mental note.
Yeah, I would.
But so I think a good way to do it is break it up into 3, right? Like
2,
pay
3.
the day of filming, and then he takes all that footage for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever, and he sends me back the first, the footage with all the crap and the junk. He edits out everything he he sees to edit out, and I pay you for that round of edits.
Yeah.
And then I sit down,
which is the main round.
That's right.
That's the bulk of
and
the
then
work.
I watch the procedure video with all the stuff he edited out, all the crap, and then I fine tune it, and I get real nitty picky and fine tune it, and I send him that with my list of edits. He edits it, and then maybe sometimes we even have a couple rounds with the nitty gritty, the nitty picky, and then I pay him when the project's done. I pay him his balance. So I think just like a contractor, right? When a contractor comes into your home, you don't pay them for your remodel all up front. You pay them in installments.
Right? Installments, I think, is the key, and that's what keeps everybody happy. Really. Yeah.
Do you think they need a contract? Like you and I don't have a contract. And I think we talked about and I think we talked about that when we first met. You hate contracts. So you don't necessarily need a you
don't necessarily.
Did we get lucky though? Should they do a contract?
Honestly,
with what's
I think we got lucky with you and you got lucky with us.
Right.
And I can't say it's a one-way street. It has to be a two-way street. If a videographer feels more comfortable with a contract, do it that way. But like they have to hold up to their end of the contract, right?
Yeah.
And to me, a verbal contract is as good as something on paper.
Right.
The only difference is that you can take somebody to court with paper.
Right.
But if you're going to work with somebody with the intention that you might take them to court, I would say don't, because something like this, media and creativity, if you're thinking of legal issues, afterwards, don't worry. If they do bad work, don't hire them. Get somebody else for the second one. That's the good thing about this. It's not permanent.
No, me too. I usually work on a handshake too. I do.
That's everything to me.
It's unfortunate sometimes with some people you have to go. You get a little bit of an uneasy feeling. You have to go into a contract, but
it's not that much money to go to contract. If we're talking about $50,000, $60,000, $100,000, things that now you're involving your corporation and there might be shortcomings and everything, and you're paying everything up front or whatever it is, you might want to do a contract. But if it's under $10,000 and per video, and you're paying this person and they're doing their work.
We're way under 10,000. He's talking movie set.
But we make a movie for way less than what it's supposed to cost. But we make it look like it's like that. Yeah, no,
I gotcha.
That's the key.
Yeah,
and that's because we care.
Right.
If you don't care, if you're just doing it just to do it,
it's
never gonna look as good as it's supposed to.
Right.
Never.
No, I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
But don't put any limitations on yourself. You know? And remember, when we first started, you didn't even have the academy.
No.
Right?
No, it wasn't launched yet.
Yeah.
It wasn't launched.
It was a venture project together. The gang is here.
Oh, my gang's here.
It was a project together, and you weren't. If somebody is already making millions of dollars on an academy, and they hire somebody and they pay this person $500 a video, let's say, for example, I think that's greedy.
Right. No, I get it. My academy was actually, it didn't launch until July. You and I started working a year before that. We've been working a couple of years now, but it kept getting delayed because I couldn't find the right videographer.
Yes.
I just couldn't. And I wasted a lot of money, a lot of time, and the academy getting delayed because that's the meat of every course on every PMU Academy is that procedure video. Yes, the written content, the forms we put on them to download, all the other stuff that's all important components. But why is someone paying to get on your course? That procedure video. That is the key component. That's what everybody. I think when they get on a course, they want to even skip all the written content and all that stuff. And they want to go straight to that procedure because that's what's exciting, and it's got to be so good. So, yeah.
And it's crazy.
And everything changed when we met you. So.
It's crazy how the camera always captures all the energy that happens behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So, whatever energy that you have with the artist or the subject that you're working with as a camera person or, a videographer, that energy translates to the video. So when you watch the video and you like the quality and you like the angle and you like all these things, that energy that has been used to work together translates to that picture.
Yeah.
So sometimes you look at the picture and you don't quite like the picture.
Right.
Maybe it has nothing to do with the quality of the video, but you don't quite like it. There's something wrong with it, and it's because of the communication between the people that are working, the videographer and the artist.
Yeah.
That communication was lost at some point of time.
And you know the mistake I make? Like, I don't want to like put all the blame on the videographers prior to you either, because the where I bear fault was I was afraid to communicate. I didn't want to step on their toes and upset them. And I was afraid to communicate. And I saw things I probably should have said, and I was afraid to.
Yeah.
And, you know, then the second one and the third one. And finally with you, I was like, I have to get over being afraid. And I'm just going to communicate. I'm just going to tell them when I see something that makes me a little nervous, or I think, you know, we need to change the angle. And so it was just all the failures prior to you and me not feeling comfortable to communicate is why I think it worked with you and I, you know, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And
because I really appreciate your skills.
Oh,
like, I am a fan of what you do.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So that makes me way easier. It makes it way easier on me to take advice from you.
Yeah.
If you weren't good at what you did, I couldn't really take that much advice from you. But when I see the level of artistry that you have and you're applying to your work, like, I admire that.
Yeah.
And I can't argue with you in your work.
But that must motivate you to just want to do what you do, just capture it, right?
But that opens up the channel of communication.
Yes. Yeah.
You can't walk into a master's room and tell them what they need to do differently.
Right.
You can't.
Right.
So when I walk into your room, I walk into a master's room. That's how I see you, Teryn. Specifically you. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then I apply that same energy to every single person that you work with, because they are your
colleagues.
Students.
Students, colleagues.
Really? Like, they're students, right? They always learn. So I apply that same energy to them because they come from the same stock. And it's very valuable.
Yeah.
That's why we have and you appreciate my skills, I appreciate your skills. That's why we have such a good
there's a big,
communication.
huge mutual respect between us.
And that's because I understand.
And we have a lot of fun, Art.
Of
we
course.
laugh and giggle and tell. We have a lot of fun filming. So it's hard work. It is stressful. I'm tired when I get home from a day of filming, but it's super fun. And look, before we go, I mean, you've got a great partner too. You don't do this all alone.
No.
And I don't want to forget Eddie.
Always there.
Eddie's always here. And so, you know, the bigger the dream, the more important the team, right? And I know he's a key. I know he's super important to your success too. Yeah. I mean, Eddie operates that second camera, and he's super funny, and he's just great to work with too.
I'm the mouthpiece. Eddie's the brain.
Oh, Eddie's the brain.
Yeah, I do the talking. Ed does the thinking.
Eddie is the one who came up with the logo. For my podcast, he designed the logo Tatter-a-fact, which is great. Yep. And the girls gave me a coffee mug for Christmas with the logo on a coffee mug. I should have it here. Yeah. But that's great. Yeah.
Ed is the one who graduated from college and everything.
Really?
He looks like a cholo.
He does look You said it, not me.
I didn't even graduate from college. Ed graduated from college. He's a master at what he does. And again, I learned communication from Ed.
Yeah.
Because I used to come off a little rude and everything. Because Ed killed my
Eddie's
ego.
Funny.
Oh yeah,
he's just super fun. Look, if anybody went to America the Beautiful to the PMU conference, Art and Eddie was there. They filmed it. Yeah. So we even brought you in on that project. Yeah.
Thank you for that. And we were waiting for one this year too, but
COVID. But we are booked at the Golden Nugget December 2022.
Okay.
And so you and Eddie will be there for that.
In 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years. Wow.
Yep. We were really nervous to schedule one this year with everything. I just didn't want to. Because it's a lot of money. I mean, you have to put big down payments, and you have to pay them installments and prepay for a lot of stuff, and it can be
I don't blame you.
It's crazy. And what if we were still
better be safe than sorry.
Better be safe than sorry. So
and what you're doing here with this podcast, I congratulate you. I think this is the way to go. Yes, there's a lot of podcasts out there.
Yeah,
millions, but not every podcast has a master behind the microphone. Okay. Yeah. And if you have, if there's a master behind the microphone, then ears are going to listen to it.
Yeah. Okay? And I like to talk, so everybody knows me.
I saw you
at Olivia.
I saw you at the convention.
Yeah.
When you were talking, you were a master. So I was watching I'm not saying that because I'm working with you. I'm not saying because we have a friendship, but I'm saying that because I see it how it is. Okay.
Right.
When I see a master, when I see somebody who knows exactly what they're talking about, why they're saying it, when they're saying it, and how they're saying it, I really appreciate that. And that's the key to success, really, behind the microphone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, because there's a lot of people who just talk.
Exactly.
It's a lot of talk.
Yep.
But when you talk, people learn.
Yeah.
And when people learn, they come back.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the success to your podcast. And you're a fun person. You're a good person. And I wish you a lot of success, honestly.
Thank you. I'm super excited.
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
Me too.
All right. So we'll end this up. And look, this was really impromptu. Maybe it didn't start off as professionally as it should. And
Look, we have an HDMI cable on the table.
Yeah, I mean, and a rook, and zip ties and everything. And look, yeah. And I'm a mess. I got a mask hanging on here. All right, so we'll wrap it up. So thank you for joining me and Art for another episode of Tatter-a-fact that we didn't expect. But I think you're going to enjoy it. All right, we'll see you next time.
Okay.